I'm Ginger Holman, and I've known O'Neill for about 12 years.
And I'm Mike Holman, and I've known O'Neill for the same amount of time. Our child's experience with O'Neill was very positive. Nate, to this day, still looks up to O'Neill and considers him a mentor and a good friend. And when he was younger, being coached by O'Neill, I guess he started when he was about 8. O'Neill was very patient with not only Nate, our son, but all the other kids on the team. And O'Neill always seemed to take a very personal interest in each player and coached to their skill set. And O'Neill was always very good, I thought, about understanding that children develop at different speeds and different time frames, and just because someone doesn't have a high skill set now doesn't mean they won't in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And so he was always very cognizant of that.
For me, having what I saw about Nate when he was working with O'Neill was that there were also a lot of character and life lessons to be learned. And as a parent, I really appreciated that. It was more than just about the technical skills, which clearly are important, but it was about learning about soccer, about how to carry yourself on the field, about how to be part of a team. And Nate carries a lot of those lessons with him today. Even now, he's in college, has moved on from competitive soccer, but he will always take those lessons with him.
One thing that was always important to O'Neill was players' respect for each other on the team. Again, no matter the skill set, but also the respect for the other team. And he was always encouraging the players, not to talk bad to the other players, but to particularly encourage each other.
And your work ethic.
Right.
And taking responsibility. Those were all big lessons. Nate was a sweeper, and Mike was reminding me of a story just today about one time Nate got pulled out of the game, and he didn't understand why he got pulled out. And O'Neill said, well, the players aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And Nate said, well, yeah. And O'Neill told him, well, you're the sweeper. It's your responsibility to make sure they do it. And Nate still didn't get it. I mean, it took a while for that lesson to sink in, that Nate was not doing his job to make sure everybody else was doing their job. So there was always a lesson to be learned in every game.
My experience as a parent with O'Neill was very positive. O'Neill, I always felt like I was in the know with O'Neill. He was always took the time to talk to the parents. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. So there was always that understanding. I was always impressed with his practices. I always hung around because I enjoyed watching the practices. And O'Neill always had very structured practices. There was no dead time. Everything had a purpose. And I remember that always impressed me. And I know Nate liked that too, because he didn't like standing around. He always wanted to be doing something. And O'Neill's practices were always that way. I always appreciated that, how O'Neill treated Nate and the other players. There wasn't any favoritism. O'Neill was always very good about treating everyone the same and figuring out what it took with each player to get the best out of them. And I always enjoyed watching that. And a lot of that was done at the practices. And that's one reason I think I enjoyed staying at the practices so much, to watch that happen.
But he also taught them, what I appreciated as a parent, was watching Nate learn the lesson that if you want to get good at something, it's more than just showing up at practice.
Yep.
That there's work to be done in between practices. And O'Neill would send videos home with Nate to watch a particular team play a particular game, professional teams, and tell him to watch the sweeper and how they conducted their game. And then they'd have conversations about it when Nate brought the video back. So Nate learned that not only did he have to practice his technical skills, but he needed to learn the game. And I think that that's something important that O'Neill taught him, was Nate learned to read the game, and then Nate learned to take that knowledge and play strategically. And that's when he really blossomed, I think, as a soccer player. And it was really fun to watch because he was making strategic choices on the field. And that thought process has carried over into the rest of his life too. It's an important lesson.
Yeah, and O'Neill was always good too about listening to the players and Nate's a person that needs to be heard. He has opinions, and he has very strong opinions. And O'Neill was always good about listening to those thoughts and opinions, and then coaching Nate to get him to where he needed Nate to be. And subsequent coaches that Nate had weren't as good at that with Nate. And so there was some butting of heads, if you will, at times with other coaches. But I was always impressed that O'Neill had that patience with Nate to listen to him, but to help Nate understand where O'Neill was trying to get him to be as a player.
There were parental lessons in there too.
Yeah.
If somebody was asking me if they should invest in coaching for their child with O'Neill, I would say try it and see if you see the results. I mean, it was a financial commitment for us too. I mean, Nate's not our only child, and it was something I remember having conversations about. Can we afford to do this? Should we do this? Is this the way we want to spend our money? But the benefits, they far outweighed it. That he did learn life lessons in those training sessions that he carries with him today. I see it in his study habits in school. I see it in how he conducts his life. I see it in the character lessons that he learned. I see it in the man that he's becoming.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just about the soccer skills, although those were really great.
And at the time, that's what we saw was the soccer skill development.
It was.
And that's what we appreciated at the time. And because, at that age, every soccer parent thinks their kid's going to grow up to be a soccer player. And so we saw that and saw the skills that O'Neill was very good, the technical skills that he was very good about developing in the players. I mean, you could see throughout the season, each player, again, no matter their skill level, there was improvement in all of them. And then after a couple of years with O'Neill, again, we started seeing those life skills that he was teaching and saw that we could see that Nate was practicing using those life skills outside of soccer, and that's when it was like, yeah, that was a good investment.